Hello everyone, hello, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to episode 75, I think it is, of Look Back. Yes, hope you're doing well, it's good to see you. Yeah, it's basically this is where I look back at what I reviewed 1 year ago and 5 years ago and see whether I still agree with myself or whether the reviews have changed. And also what I actually reviewed and whether it's any interest or not. Some things have disappeared, this, that and the other. So it'll be quite an interesting one to see how that goes. So hopefully you can see me okay, hopefully everything's working, hopefully everything's fine, this, that and the other. Yeah, there we go. So let me know if you can't, but fingers crossed you can. Let's see if I can put in a bit of background music. Maybe I can, let's have a see. Maybe I can. We'll find out. We'll find out if it works or not. We'll see. Hopefully it will do. Hopefully it will. Yes, I think it is. Good. Hopefully you can hear it okay. But let me know if you can't. All the usual stuff. But anyway, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm going to do hopefully an update today to the channel. So a pretty big one coming up, to be honest with you. Had a few things going on the past month. Sort of the foray into 4K, looking to revamping the memberships and things like this, and just the general how the channel works, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to do an update. Hopefully be out today, tomorrow. So look out for that one. Should be a good one. A good to hear input on that really as well. So yeah, there we go. Also been trying to just sort of iron out things like the images and sound and this, that and the other. Looks like it's gone okay, I think. Hopefully it's fine. So hopefully everything's as you'd expect it to be. So yeah, fingers crossed. Quite a few changes basically. Hopefully they've all settled down and got there in the end. So there we go. So anyway, let's have a look then. So we usually sort of start what we did 5 years back. Now it's still looking at 2025 basically, not 2026 yet. But I think as of the next look back, it will start to move into what I reviewed. Yeah, literally, sort of in 2026. We'll move forward a year. But that also mean I will have been doing the channel for 10 years. So I might actually start looking back at what I did 10 years ago as well. So believe it or not, so 1, 5 years and 10 years ago. Goodness me, can you believe it? So yeah, it might be a bit of a weird one. The original videos I did, the quality was certainly, not as good as it is now, that's for sure. I'm not saying it's amazing now and things like this, but it's certainly, yeah, I've got like a hair flapping around my eye, I think. It's certainly better now than it was then anyway. And I didn't used to show my face on my early reviews, which was quite interesting. I didn't used to want it to sort of be about me and watching how I eat and stuff like that, but I think people generally prefer to see a face, don't they really? And some people said that as well, and this, that and the other. So yeah, so the older videos, they are what they are, but I would still like them to be there. They're still the early days, and there's still something about them, which is quite quirky. But yeah, it's one of those, I'm never sure what to make of those, whether to remove them or not. And they're in my playlist of reviews of all things tasty. The quality, as I say, is not quite the same. So whether it's people put people off, I'm not too sure. I don't know. But let me know what you think anyway about that. That's an interesting one anyway. So yeah, so there we go. So right, so let's have a look. So let's see if I can get things in place. Got a few windows in the background. So let's see how that goes. Hopefully we can get things organised. Fingers crossed. Yes, hopefully. All right, there we go. I think that's a bit better. Okay, so let's get the graphics up and running. Why not? Why not? Let's have a see. So we've got, let's have a look. We've got a couple of background things going on here. I'll say I will have to change these graphics in some cases because they mention years and stuff like that. So let's have a look. Let's have a see. I always lose them though. It's always very difficult. It's got so many different images and things like this in the background. It can be quite difficult to get them, but there we go. So let's look at 5 years ago. Let's see. Yes, 2020. Yes, there we go. Right, there we are. All set. And Skywalker, good to see you. How are you doing? Afternoon, Chocolics. Yes, it's the right place for us all, I think, that's for sure. How are you doing, Skywalker? Everything going well? Good to see you managed to keep weight today. Not bad at all. How's things going for you, Skywalker? How's your week been? Hopefully it's been good. All right, so what did we review 1 year ago? Let's have a look. What did we review? So let's have a see if I can. Goodness me, I'm trying to find these things here. Right, so did the Cadbury 200th anniversary edition tin. So it's a tin of Cadbury. Well, basically, Cadbury celebrating its 200th year. I think it was 1 year ago. Anyway, it might have been around for a few months. Maybe it was the year before. I'm not sure. But when I reviewed the tin, it was that year. Anyway, so this was a tin, quite a nice looking tin actually. And what did it have in it? It had sort of chunks. It had various chunks. It had dairy milk and whole nuts, dairy milk with caramel, and it had caramel milk and Cadbury white as well in there, basically. But what I gave this one, actually, well, let's see, what did I give it? Let's have a look. I gave it, believe it or not, might be, so I can find the right one, if I can. Let's have a see. I'm just trying to make sure I do the right things here. So yeah, 3 out of 5 I gave it, yes. Hello, Julia. Good to see you. It's first live. First one I managed to make. Good to see you. Oh, good to see you, Julia. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Yes, it's a bit of a funny one. So I'm always worried I'll get people's names wrong in this one because obviously it says Gyro Say. So, but I remember having this problem many times where I've had to check what your name is. So yes. So I'm sure that's Juliet, but I want to get it wrong, so I'll have to double check. But I can't really do it in the lives. So anyway, luckily, the experience has paid off. So there we go. Good to see you, Juliet. How are you doing today as well? Good to see you. Yeah. So it's a bit of as I say, but I'm going to do an update later on. So keep an eye out for that, everyone. It's quite interesting to see your feedback on it. There we go. GTA fan here. Nathan as well. Good to see you. Yes, how are you? Been watching the channel. Good to see you, Nathan. Yeah, not doing too bad today, thank you. How are you doing as well? How are you doing? What's the chocolate situation like where you are? And I take it you're excited for the next GTA coming out. Will it still be out this year? What do you reckon, GTA? Do you reckon? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether it will be or not, but you never know. Hopefully, they've delayed it a few times. But anyway, the Cadbury demo slash, this was actually, looks amazing, in theory it's amazing, but in practice, when you think about it, it's actually very disappointing, which is why I gave it 3 out of 5. Because, as I say, it's got dairy milk in, it's got dairy milk whole nut, whatever it is, dairy milk caramel, milk, and Cadbury white. But where's the effort to make it a real celebration of 200 years of Cadbury? Cadbury have got so much in their back catalogue, so many interesting things, and it's just a basic dairy milk selection that they've done before. They've had these dairy milk with 3 different kinds, and then they just extended it to the Cadbury white and the caramel. But the Cadbury white and caramel chunks are actually smaller than the other ones, so they've not even bothered to make them the same size. And why were they not rebranded? Even if it was just at face value, why would they not say the Cadbury white rebrand is Cadbury Dream? Why was the Cadbury caramel not yellow in yellow wrappers like the Cadbury caramel of old? Where's Bourneville in there? Bourneville of all things. Why is there no Bourneville in it? And why have they not, brought back classics that they don't do anymore, like Spirers or something like that, or these, the Aztec they did back in the day, even before my time? Why have they not made any effort whatsoever for this selection? So it was really disappointing. I was quite frustrated actually, because it was really so, it wasn't bad or anything, but it was such a lazy effort, and it was nothing celebrating 200 years at all in this selection. It was just it could have been released on any day of the week for any year, and it was really disappointing. So the only good thing about it, and the reason it was still good, is because there's still nice chocolates, but it's, it's not fair, that really. So as a 200-year celebration, really, it should be lower than this. And in fact, I am tempted to give it lower, but I think 3 out of 5 is still probably low enough, to be honest with you. So I think I will give it the same, say 3 out of 5, but it was really disappointing, and if anything, it was such a lazy effort. It looked great, the tin was nice. And also, another thing, there was 7 Cadbury whites, and I think I had 17, I don't know which one was it. It was Cadbury 17 of something else, I can't remember what it was now. Maybe, like, I don't know, fruit and, whole nut or whatever it was, I'm not sure. But it was, it's just such a rubbish distribution as well. It's really poor, really poor. Yes, the really light layer of chocolate. So hang on, the chaffing layer, right layer of chocolate on the outside, milk chocolate, and then on the inside, it's like a really soft marshmallow. It's so delicate, like a Jim-style Tunnels tea cake. What's this, Skywalker? What's this? I might have missed what you were. Yes, it sounds nice, whatever it is. Yeah. Goodness me, it does sound nice. But what was that? What is that you're describing there? Sounds interesting. I hope GTA 6 comes out this year. Excited, yeah. Fingers crossed. Are you more of an online player, or do you prefer the single player, or both? I guess the network maybe just describe perhaps an online presence. Yeah, I'm hoping it will do. I mean, it should be quite good, that, if it does. They'll certainly make a lot of money from it. Chocolate softies at Lidl. See, okay, I'm not, interesting. I'll have to keep an eye out for those then. I think, was these mentioned last week or last time you were on? It sounds quite a nice one though, doesn't it? With soft marshmallow and the delicate, it's like the German style of Tunnels tea cake. Very nice. I need to try them. I'll keep an eye out then. I'll have to go when the next in the door. I'll keep an eye out. I always forget sometimes when I'm in the door. I'm sure there's something I should be looking out for. But I will keep an eye out. I'll try and remember that. Yes, let's obviously see if I can make a note somewhere of those. Let's see, chocolate softies. Interesting name, that, chocolate softies. I'll just make a note of that. Chocolate softies. All right, there we go. I started using Obsidian. Don't know if any of you guys use Obsidian here. Quite a nice note-taking application in a way. It's a bit like OneNote, I guess. I've started using that, and it's quite an easy way to keep track of things, actually. So I'm going to add that to Obsidian now. In fact, I'm using it for my little notes for this now as well, which is quite good. It's even better. I used to use Notepad++, which is quite good in a way, but Obsidian's quite helpful actually with this. So there we go. So anyway, 3 out of 5 for the Cadbury anniversary tin. Yeah, very disappointing. You can still see them, I think, actually. I'm sure I saw them in B&M today, a small one at least. I think the small ones don't have Cadbury white and Cadbury caramel in them. But yeah, really disappointing. I mean, it's just not a celebration of Cadbury, is it? It's just not a celebration of Cadbury. It was they already sold those tins already with those free chocolates, and then you just expanded it a bit to the caramel and white. So yeah, a bit disappointed with those ones, to say the least. I think that was definitely a lazy effort. No, not quite Lidl, but Aldi here. We've got Aldi, yes. Now, Juliet, we mentioned these to you, didn't we, Juliet? I did review these a year back. I'll put the link in the description after I finish the live. Here's the, the Aldi Cherry Bakewell Jaffa Cakes. Yes, now what did I give these ones? I gave them a 4 out of 5. I gave them. So I've got the Sainsbury's ones to review, actually. Where are they? They're just off to the right. Hopefully the camera won't stop following me around the room like it did last time. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yes. Got them here. So I got the. I reckon they're pretty. I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same. They're exactly the same. I think they're sure the. If you look on the, you can quite see there. They're about the same. You can see the Aldi ones actually look a bit nicer, don't they? The box is definitely a bit better on the Aldi side, I would say. Looks more like Jaffa Cakes. Maybe Aldi ripping off Jaffa Cakes there. It does look like the Jaffa Cake font, doesn't it? And probably Sainsbury's are less, willing to, I don't know what's the word. Risk copyright or whatever. Yes. So yes, at the German markets you'll find them there, but they are extremely overpriced. I'm going back tomorrow to find different flavours as well. Right, that's an interesting one. Yeah, German markets are quite expensive, aren't they? They have, they're nice. It's a nice experience when it's not wet and cold, which it usually is. But there we go. And Scotty's woke up as well. Good to see you, Scotty. Woke up after a nap. How are you doing, Scotty, today? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Scotty. Good to see you. Good to see you. Not out and about today. Well, yeah. Too rainy, I think, today, though, isn't it? Too rainy. So yes, so what were we? Let's see, here we go. 4 out of 5. So I thought they looked really great. Got a nice fruity scent as well. Doesn't include an almond flavour, which is odd for these Jaffa Cakes actually. Cherry Bakewell Jaffa Cakes not having an almond flavour, but they had the aroma of it, so it kind of worked. Sometimes you smell with your nose sometimes, don't you? Really, it's a bit of a smell with your nose. Taste with your nose as well. Taste with the scent. You know what I mean? So some things, if you can't smell things, you can't get the taste. And this one definitely seems to work with that. Having an almond sort of smell, aroma, really actually meant that you kind of got the taste as well, so it's quite interesting. Good proportions as well, but the only problem with these, as is the problem with most Jaffa Cakes, just not as good as the Orange Originals, unfortunately. Yeah, it's one of those. I look forward to seeing what you think of the Sainsbury's ones. I'm not a fan of Bakewell tarts, wouldn't like them, but my dad gave them the thumbs up. He's a massive Bakewell tart fan, I see. You're not a fan of Bakewell? I must admit, when I was going to say a fan of Bakewell tarts, now the Mr. Kipling ones are the ones I tend to have. I don't know. I haven't really had a real one. I don't really even know if I've ever had a real one. I think I always class Bakewell tarts as a Mr. Kipling Bakewell tart with a glacé cherry on top with a sort of icing. I do quite like them actually. I do have a place for them. Would you like the Jaffa Cakes if you don't like Bakewell tart? I don't know. It tastes like a Bakewell tart. It tastes like one, Juliet. So I would. I don't know, but there's obviously no pastry and things like this. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I wouldn't have thought you would like them if you didn't like a Bakewell tart, but you certainly they're probably more palatable than an actual Bakewell tart, if that makes sense. If you like Jaffa Cakes and things like that, so you might be okay. You might be all right. Yeah, you might be okay. So I think for me, these ones, to be honest with you, I think probably the same. 4 out of 5, I reckon. A good side Jaffa Cake. Something very different as well than the regular sort of Jaffa Cake spin-offs. Quite enjoyed them actually. Usually Jaffa Cake spin-offs are just a different flavoured jelly or whatever it is, aren't they? But this one, they really pushed the boat out, made a bit of a difference, and it looked good. McVitie's are there, sort of other Jaffa Cakes. I've never really tried that. Yeah, heavy rain outside. Might head to the shops later on. Need to sort the membership out. Oh yes, great if you could come back, Scotty. But obviously, no pressure. You've supported for such a long time. But I'm sort of revamping it up, Scotty. I did do a members only sort of post on that. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to see it. Typically, but I'm going to do I probably won't refer to it as a February update. But I'm going to do an update later on soon to explain it all. So hopefully you'll be in support of it anyway. I think it's going to be a positive thing. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And I apologise everyone if I sound like I'm struggling to breathe through my nose today. I have a bit of a thing where I think sometimes my sinuses become quite, I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I've not got a cold or anything, but sometimes I struggle to breathe through my nose. So you'll see me suddenly not being able to speak all of a sudden. It sounds like I'm sort of like hiccuping or something like that. But it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those days today. Maybe it's something to do with the heating in my house or something. I'm not sure. Hopefully it's nothing to worry about anyway. Bakewell tarts are not my favourite either, but they look good on a plate with a cup of tea. They certainly do. Those cakes, Mr. Kipling cakes, are a bit like that, aren't they? I think they're a lot of the times too much pastry. Frangipan over Bakewell tart. I'm sure I've had Frangipan before. I think they don't have Frangipan in Bakewell tart. Isn't that what the inside is? I could be completely wrong, but isn't that what's in the inside of Bakewell tart? At least the Mr. Kipling ones. I went to Bakewell in Derbyshire last year and had a bakery selling the OG tarts. I never bought one to try. Yeah, Bakewell, have I been there? I think I went there with school years ago. What's the place called that's... is it? It's not Bakewell, is it Bakewell? All the Blue John mines and stuff. Is it Bakewell? I'm thinking of that little town, that little village. I can't think what it's called now. If you ask me, I'm sure it's not Bakewell, but yeah, there's a little village that you go up to, and it's got like there's a few caves and stuff like that. I think it's called the Devil's Arse or something, you know. I don't know. All things, which is a lovely image. But yes, so there we go. So it's got yeah, there's like a little town there. It's got a little village there, and it's quite nice actually, quite small. But I'm sure it's not Bakewell, but they have like a Blue John mine there and stuff like that. Which is like used to be a pretty precious gem. Well, it's still quite precious, but you don't really hear of it anymore. The only place in the world you can get it or something like that. Let's have a look. Blue John Mines. Let's see, where's that? Blue John Mines. Where is it? Blue John Cavern. Blah, 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 blah. Where is it? Did it say where it is? Castleton. Is that what I'm thinking? Could be what I'm thinking of. Castleton. Might be what I'm thinking of. Castleton. Yeah, there we go. So somewhere towards Bakewell. You might be right, but I'm sure it's cherry and not almond. Yes, I see. Oh, by the way, I'm expecting a parcel, by the way, today. So I've just heard the door close somewhere, so it might be the postman about to come and deliver a parcel. It's raining as well, so bad mood. But yeah, there we go. Won't be a second. 1 moment. Okay, I'm back. Yes, apologies for that. Yes, it was the postman. Yes, there we go. I'm sure it's, yes, cherry and not almond. Yes, I did. Well, I don't know what the. Yeah, I must say I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm only ever, as I say, familiar with the actual Mr. Kipling ones, so I never really tried a proper one or anything like that. I don't really know. So it'd be interesting to try one. Maybe I'll have to do one at some point. I've got to change my payment details. Membership's buying after all the memberships from RC. Oh, it's a pain, isn't it, Scotty? I know if you used to issue a new card or whatever, it's always the way, isn't it? But anyway, well, as I say, thanks for your continued support, Scotty. It's massively appreciated. And yeah, yes, it'd be great to have you back, of course, but you'll still be here all the same, still welcome. So don't worry either way. It's always great to see you. Yes, so Cherry Bakewell Jaffa Cakes. Yeah, interesting one. It would be nice if McVitie's did more, wouldn't it, of interesting, Jaffa cake varieties rather than just, if they do something a bit quirky, I don't know. But the problem is, and is always the case, is they're just never as good as the originals. I just always like the originals the most. There's just something about them. The flavour just works great. It works well with the orange and chocolate and stuff like that. It just all works very well. So difficult one, but it would be interesting if they did something a bit different. It would be nice to see, I think. All right, so what else have we got then for a year back? Let's have a see. Let's have a look. We just got Tony's Chocolonely. Which one's this one? I can't read it from up there. I've got it down here somewhere. Let's have a look. Tony's milk. Tony's Chocolonely Milk Pecan Caramel Crunch. There we go. Milk Pecan Caramel Crunch. So what did I give this one? I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. This one, 3.5 out of 5. I've got 2020 written there, haven't I? Am I doing the wrong order here? I was saying this 5 years ago. I'm doing the 1 year ago ones here. I've made a mistake, everyone. Apologies for that. You might have. Goodness me. Oh dear. Just testing you all. 1 year ago. We'll jump back. I did my notes in the wrong order there, so apologies for that. Let's have a look. We'll swap the year on. There we go. All right. We're doing 1 year ago. Goodness me. Oh, I thought I was doing everything so sublime. So what's the word? So effortlessly as well, but I wasn't. I was messing up from the start, but never mind. 1 year ago. These are all 1 year ago. It's okay, not 5 years ago. Yeah. Goodness me, got carried away. Usually I do the 5 years ago first, but I've structured my notes to do 1 year for. I don't know why I did that anyway. I made a schoolboy error there, but there we go. So Tony's Chocolonely Milk Pecan Caramel Crunch. This one I gave it 3.5 out of 5. I gave it. So lots of lovely chunky chocolate, as Tony's generally does. Lots of crunch, but the problem is it's got things like what do you have, like biscuit pieces and caramel pieces in there. Those like Inventor bars. Might come on to these in a bit actually. Those Cadbury Inventor bars they did about 5 years ago. Well, it was 5 years ago. Well, spoiler, we're going to do one of those in a minute. Might have worked it out. They did those about 5 years back, and the problem with them, I don't know if you remember, in some cases anyway, was that you had to pick 3 ingredients for them. You can invent your own bar, was the gist of it. Cadbury's website. You could go on, you invent your own dairy milk bar. You could put things like, fudge pieces in, biscuit pieces in, cow pieces in. So people would come up with an idea. They might think of, I'm going to try and replicate Jaffa cakes, say, for instance. So you might put in something like, orange jelly pieces, and let's just say, you probably didn't have cake pieces, but let's say biscuit pieces in or something like that. Or dark chocolate chunks or something. But it would force you to put in like a 3rd ingredient, and so you'd have to put some random ingredient in. So you had this brilliant idea in your head of what I want a bar to be like, and then you had to put this 3rd ingredient in that would probably ruin it, or just not have any relevance whatsoever. And also the other problem with them was that Cadbury didn't really adjust the proportions as well. So you get so the proportions wouldn't quite work in some cases. So if you wanted it to be mainly focused on one flavour over another, you'd have the other flavour conflicting and stuff like that. So that was kind of the problem with these creator bars. So, at the end, you might fluke one, a good flavour, or, if you really were thinking about it beforehand, you might think, I've got to be careful what I add in and stuff like that, or try and, but you wouldn't think of that, would you? Because you're just doing it, you're just messing around, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's what I think, that's what I reckon is the problem with a lot of Tony's products. They feel like they're just creator bars, basically. They're not, they're horrible. The Cadbury creator bars are still nice. But they're never quite proportioned correctly. They're never quite right. Like in this one, for instance, it's a pecan crunch bar, but it's got like caramel pieces in there. And it's caramel pieces, it's never runny caramel. And it's got biscuit pieces in. And you can't tell the difference. You cannot tell what's, because it's got this pecan flavour in there as well. You just can't tell what's the caramel pieces, just crunchy pieces, and the biscuit pieces as well. It's just, they're not really designed professionally, I would say. They don't feel like they are at all, and they're just not, I don't know, none of them seem like, well, and yet they did one called the Everything Bar, which I reviewed probably a year ago or something, but it may as well, it's as everything as this one, because you can't tell the difference. It's got like pretzel pieces in it, caramel pieces in it, and the salted caramel pieces in, I don't know, whatever, biscuit pieces in, might have pecan pieces, they could have everything in, but they're all the same texture, and you can't tell the difference with half the flavours. So a complete waste of time. That's the problem with these ones, Yeah, I was in Castleton too, in the Peak District. Yeah, what do you reckon, Scott? It's quite a nice. There's a little day out. I mean, it's not a big place, is it, Castleton? Let's face it. But yeah, it's not bad. Does it have a train station in Castleton? I assume it does. I imagine it does, doesn't it? Yeah. But a nice little village, Castleton. It's not bad. Yes. Could you not have the same ingredient twice in the Cadbury Creator bars? Could you? I don't know actually, Juliet. I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling you probably couldn't, but maybe you could. I don't know. And that would solve the problem if you could. Maybe you could. I'm trying to think if you could do that. I feel like it's ringing a bell now, but I feel like the problem with that was they still didn't distribute it correctly, that they didn't give double the amount in and stuff like that. Because I do think there was originally some that had two ingredients in. I feel like that was the original ones. I don't know, I can't recall now, so I could be doing them a disservice here. But I feel like maybe originally you could, but they didn't. If they doubled it up, it didn't seem to make any difference. Maybe I'm kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm sort of guessing here now, I must say. But I seem to remember. I'm sure I was thinking that you had to add 3 ingredients at one point, because there was a lot of them where you could tell. There was like. It had like a theme around it, and you could enter the name of the product, put in the, whatever it was, and it'd be called like hot cherry something or other, or something like that. But there was clearly some random other ingredient in there that was just didn't work quite right. But you could be right there, Juliet, because it is ringing bells now, and I don't know whether it was all the way through at the start or both, and if you could do it, because I seem to remember commenting on that now, basically saying, it's got 2 ingredients in, but there's not, it doesn't feel like there's one overriding the other one. But I could be completely wrong, I could be misremembering that. But either way, they were a bit, I feel like they weren't quite, they were just a bit, the idea was a bit foiled. It was great, but to be honest with you, it was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? Let's face it. But it just didn't quite work. But the thing is, Tony's, they don't have that excuse. These ones should be just perfect, really. It's not just one being thrown together by just some random person or whatever. It should be professionally made, and I just feel like they're not. So anyway, as nice as they are and things, they never really progress above just being about average or just above average, to be honest with you. So about the same, 3.5 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, I don't know, they just never quite live up to, I don't know, if they could start doing some of the chocolate bars, they have like white chocolate and things like this in and stuff like that, which is a bit different. It's actually a white chocolate product and stuff like this, but they never seem to have just different textures. It's always just like pretzels and biscuits and things like this, and they just all feel the same. There's never any runny ingredients, you know, or anything like that. It's always hard, chewy ingredients. Yeah, I don't know. It just means they're all very similar. Yeah, so I never feel like I'm really getting anything too interesting, you know, with them. All right, and here you go. You did the Flake versus Ripple special. Yes, Flake versus Ripple. So I gave, well, this was very, I mean, to be honest with you, I was expecting Flake to run away with this one. I'd always been a fan of Flake. I've always got childhood memories of Flake, you know, all those adverts and things. Only the crumbliest Flake is chocolate. Feels like chocolate. Something like that. I can't remember something along those lines, the slogan of the song, or both. Really nice, it was really nice, and I thought Ripple, you know, a lot of people say no, you should do it versus, I think was it versus Twirl? I should do it, or should do Twirl versus Ripple. I can't quite think now. But for me, it's always been Flake and Ripple have kind of been the rival bars, even though I guess they're not technically the same. You know, you could say that Twirl's more similar to Ripple, but you could say Twirl's more similar to Flake. Maybe I don't know, but either way, I kind of felt that Ripple and Flake were the rival bars. Really, Ripple was kind of, you know, the equivalent of Flake. To an extent anyway, and of course there was Snowflake. You could maybe argue that was equal, but either way, anyway. So it's kind of these ones I did together. But I actually preferred Ripple in the end. I actually thought Ripple was the nicer product. I don't know, just the snap of the chocolate was just a bit more. I don't know, just a bit more enjoyable. Really, I don't know. The Flake one just didn't quite. I don't know. It just didn't feel as good. But I gave them both still a 5 out of 5. But to be honest with you, I think a Flake, I think I'd give 4 and 4.5 out of 5 nowadays. A Flake. So this is Flake, 4.5 out of 5. I think I might, make it down a bit. I just feel like when I had it again, and I had it in the Cadbury Hero new products and things, and it just wasn't that as exciting as I thought it was, really. So it's still a great bar, still really nice, but yeah, 4.5 out of 5. I feel like it's probably closer to a 4 than a 5 these days. I don't know. It's just maybe I've just cooled a bit on Flake. I'm not sure. Still a great product though, but I don't know. It's one of those where I feel like it's better in your mind than it is in reality. Yeah, so I don't know. Interesting on that one, but on the other hand, I think yes. Let's see. I'm doing it the wrong way around here, I think, but yeah. But a Twirl, definitely 5 out. Twirl. A Ripple, definitely a 5 out of 5. Really, really enjoy Ripples. They're such a nice product actually, and it's one of those I rarely go back and buy a bar more than once because I've reviewed so much chocolate. But Ripple was a case where I did go back and buy another one actually after I'd had it because it was so yeah, lovely. Yeah, Galaxy chocolate's really nice. Even though I'm not generally a fan of creamy milk chocolate, but Galaxy for some reason just works for me. So yeah. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Now, I don't think I've got any gifted memberships to do this, but I'll just double check just in case. Membership gifting. I don't think I've got any left. No, I haven't. Yes. So it'll be probably, well, don't think it'll be next week, but then in 2 weeks' time I've got more to gift. It's going to be March, isn't it? And then pretty much next Sunday. Can you believe it? It's ridiculous, isn't it? But there we go. Right. So now we will do 5 years ago. Yeah. Goodness me. Oh dear. Right. Let's have a look. So see if I can go back and get it all set up right this time. So let's have a see. 5 years ago, there we are. Right, there we go. Look at that. Things as well. There we go. There we are. Made it. Good. Right. Okay. We're on track. 5 years ago. Goodness me. Yeah, as I say, look back in future. I'll be starting to include 10 years back as well. Might revamp the graphics a bit, or just at least the font. But yeah, for 10 years. Can you believe I've been doing the channel 10 years now? It's hard to believe, isn't it? Hard to believe, really, but. Time does fly. Alright, so what did we review first 5 years ago? Okay, so let's have a look. I'll say first, what will we come to first? Do them in order here. But yes, we got the Milka Caramello. The Milka Caramel, this one. Yeah, so this one was, let's see, where did I give this one? I gave this quite high score. 4 out of 5, this one I gave it. Yeah, Milka Caramel. So it's got an interesting one, this one. It's like, obviously, Milka chocolate. But it had like a few different kinds of caramel representation in there, which is quite nice, like a runny caramel in there, Tony's Take Note. And I think it's quite like a hard caramel. It may have been chewy, and there's like a fudge sort of creamy centre. I actually said it was really nice. I said it was like a sort of a different variety of caramel in there, and again, that's what Tony's need to do. Tastes a bit like a better version of Cadbury Fudge, I thought as well. Cadbury Fudge is one of those. It's not the best bar in the world, is it? But it's not. It's like a children's bar, isn't it? Almost really. It's one of them. But this one, I don't know, it just tastes like a better version of it, I thought. It could do a thicker chocolate, I thought, because the chocolate's quite, well, there's lots of caramel in there. It means the chocolate gets a bit overpowered. I thought it was really nice. Actually. And I thought it just had a nice variety of caramel representation in there, like in sort of fudge form, sort of. I know fudge isn't quite caramel, that sort of texture. a runny caramel in there. I just thought it was generally a nice bar actually. So I think probably about 4 out of 5 again. I think it's about the same. Yeah, I think that's about right. 4 out of 5. I think that's a good score there. So I enjoyed that one. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Very nice indeed. All right, let's have a see. What else have we get? Yeah, I don't know. Milk roll. Let's have a see what you think, guys. Milk roll Cadbury. I reckon most people in the UK probably will say Cadbury. Well, let's do a little poll to find out. Let's have a look. Let's see. Let's start a poll. Let's have a look. If I can get my typing right. Milk or Cadbury. Okay. Not sure. I just said. What's the poll? Can I do it? It's yes. Hopefully it's done it. Has it done it? I think it has. It might have done it. Yeah, it has. I'm not sure. When you're trying to do something, and then there we go. Okay, start. There we go. Great stuff. I was clicking the wrong button. There we are. Right stuff. There we go. Milk or Cadbury? What do you think, everyone? Well, Milk or Cadbury? What do you reckon? I reckon Cadbury might win this one, but we'll see. You never know. I could be surprised. So anyway, 4 out of 5. I think I gave this one, didn't I say? Have I put the graphic on? I think I did. 4 out of 5. I think it's probably about right. You know, I think 4 out of 5 is pretty accurate representation of this one. I think. So there we go. Yeah, a nice one though. I enjoyed it. I was surprised by it. All right, there we are. Another Milka one actually. It must have been a Milka time of year maybe. Jump to that one now. Let's have a look. Yes, Milka confetti as well. I think Joe in the chat. I've not seen Joe for some weeks now. I hope he's all right. But yeah, we did a Milka confetti as well. That was from 5 years back. Now I gave this one. Goodness me, I don't know. I gave this one a 5 out of 5. I gave this 5 out of 5. Obviously the chocolate tastes really great, I said, nice and creamy without being too sickly. The bar is full of like these drawers, mini Smarties basically. Has a lovely crunch to every bite, very colourful as well. 5 out of 5 though is a high mark for this one. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. High mark. What do you think, everyone? 5 out of 5 for Milka confetti. I feel like maybe. I don't know. I'm just tempted. I mean, I must have seen something in it, but I feel like that's a bit too high. So I don't know. It sounds. It's basically a sort of Milka bar with mini Smarties in. So I don't feel like that sounds like 5 out of 5 to me. I don't know. I don't know why I gave that. Maybe it's just had such a good amount of crunch in there. I'm not sure. Yes, for the chocolate itself, I'd say Cadbury. As dairy milk cannot be beaten, but for flavour I would say Milka. That's a good point there, Juliet, actually, especially when abroad. Lots of interesting flavours. It's a good point, that. It's a good point. It's a bit like, Cadbury in the UK is, I mean, there is a lot of crossover, isn't there, between Milka and Cadbury. So basically, if you can get a Cadbury flavour or something, you almost always can get the Milka one because they're owned by the same company. But Milka, like you say, do a lot more stuff going on. They've got like the brownie one, haven't they? They've got this confetti one. All sorts of different ones actually. That caramel ones we saw before, the different types of caramel. They had another one in that was really nice. I forgot what it was, like a strawberry cream one as well. So it's a good point actually. It is not as common. It's not as straightforward as you'd think, is it really? Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's quite an interesting one. So when you put it like that, maybe if we said Milka versus dairy milk, maybe it'd be more straightforward. But I think you're probably right there, Juliet. You raise a good point there. Do raise a good point. Right, and I can definitely agree with that. I think Milka is a bit more interesting. Yeah, even in the UK, you don't really, I mean, maybe they are imported ones. I'm not too sure, but even like if you go to B&M and places like that, you do see a lot more interesting Milka products. They had that cheesecake one as well, didn't they? The big Milka Max bar. Yeah. So strawberry cheesecake. An interesting one, but for this confetti one, nice as it was, I don't think a 5 out of 5 is quite right. I think so. I feel like it's probably a 4 out of 5 to answer for you. I'm tempted to give myself the benefit of the doubt, say 4.5, just because I feel like even 5 years ago I wasn't that. I mean, it wasn't like I was giving 5 out of 5 for everything basically. So I give myself the benefit of the doubt that there was something about it that made it stand out to be considered 5 out of 5. But I feel like that is too high. So if anything, I'm tempted to say 4 out of 5, but I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt and say 4.5 out of 5. I feel like that's probably a good middle ground, but I feel like probably 4 out of 5 is probably about right for that one. But yeah, I'll have to re-review that one at some point. See if I do agree with myself on that. There we go. All right, that's 5 out of 5 though. It does seem very high. There must have been something about that. Again, I'll have to give that a re-review, I think, at some point. Alright, so got this one as well. Yes, the let's just see what it's called. The Cadbury Cadbury Dairy Milk Crunchy Honeycomb. Now they changed this one. This was an Inventor Bar. I don't know which one was the Inventor Bar name. I feel like this was the Inventor Bar name. They changed it to be called Honeycomb and Honeycomb and Nuts, I think it was, because it did have nuts in. And again, this was kind of that you know, sort of problem with the product really, where, as I say, I think someone wanted to have it crunchy honeycomb and they had to put like as this a third ingredient in, and it was I think it was hazelnuts, chopped hazelnuts or something in there. So a bit of a funny one really. I'm not too sure, but it was it was a bit of a weird one, this one. What did I give it? I gave it a 3 out of 5. I said they did rebrand it, re-release it with a different name. And I think I remember talking to Scotty about it at the time, actually. Yeah, they had like, I think it's just, it must have been because it was just had nuts in it. It just didn't sound like it did. Let's say they changed it to be called Honeycomb and Nuts, I think it was. But it did have fudge in as well, which was the other one as well. So they had chopped hazelnuts, honeycomb and fudge in it. So a random set of ingredients. I don't know if could you name it perhaps when you did the Inventor Bars? I'm sure you could. Let's say crunchy honeycomb. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting, but fudge, honeycomb, chopped hazelnuts. It lacks a cohesion, this one. It definitely seems like it's a bit random, a bit too random. And the various ingredients didn't work very well together, I didn't think. And I say, honeycomb isn't even the main feature on it. You know, as I say, there's quite a lot else going on in it. So a bit of a funny one. Sort of lacks cohesion, lacks the proportions that I think were desired as well. So yeah, it was still not too bad or anything. I mean, it's still a chocolate bar with some nice things in it. You know, let's face it. But it was definitely a bit. Yeah, a bit too random, this one. A bit too random, I think you would say. A bit too random. So I think for me, yeah, 3 out of 5 is probably about right. I said they did rebrand it in the end. I said they called it honeycomb and nuts or something like that. And I say I still had fudge in it. So where that went, I don't know. But yeah, there was another one of the Inventor Bars which had like a spicy cherry in it or something, and it wasn't even labelled on the name or anything like that. It was called something else, and it had like this spicy ingredient in there. It was just completely random, you know, just very strange. But yeah, interesting one. So I don't know what was going on with that one either, but I can't remember what that one was now. But yeah, interesting one. So there we go. Right, let's say there's one more for today. Yeah, let's have a look at the old poll. Yeah, so it looks an interesting one. So I think Juliet raised a good point there about the milker, the variety and things. So it's yeah, so 67-33 to Cadbury at the moment. But yeah, I do think that's a good point, really. It's a good point. I feel like I do prefer Cadbury Dairy Milk, I must say, to the chocolate. But yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice if Cadbury had more variety, like they did about. Well, I think it's just before I started the channel. I think it was when Cadbury had a lot more variety going on. They've just removed all that now, and they had loads of different Marvellous Creations going on. There was like 3 standard Marvellous Creation ones that they had, not just the one. You know, there was like 3 of them, and then they had all these other random ones. And yeah, they've just we say this a few times when it crops up. But now they just really got rid of all that, and they just mirror Milka for the most part and have nothing really that unique themselves. So yeah, an interesting one. Alright, so let's have a look. Let's do the last one for today then. Yeah, last one. Let's have a see. What did we have? If I can find it, let's have a look. Yes, the Coconutty one. Yeah, this was what was its full name? Cadbury's Dairy Milk Coconutty. So it's not one of the Inventor Bar range. Yeah, they've stopped that now, haven't they, as well? They don't seem to do it. Did the mystery flavours one 2 or 3 years ago, and they've not really even done that since. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely it's a shame that they've stopped these sort of special bars. I don't know why they've done that. There we go. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 this one. I thought it's unusual to have a coconut flavour, which is, you see more of it these days. There's been a few coconutty, a couple of coconut in chocolate bars, hasn't there? But they've usually been imported ones. I thought it's packed full of chunky pieces as well. Coconut Crunch is quite a unique flavour as well. I thought it has quite a unique taste, rather, texture. It had quite a unique, it was quite a unique texture, that's all those coconut flakes, what have you. We had like white chocolate cereal balls in there as well. But you didn't really get any white chocolate flavour, they were too small. So this is again another one where, you've added an ingredient hoping to get something a bit more interesting. And you just don't really get anything. These white chocolate cereal ball things, if you imagine them a bit like those ones you get in those Muller corner yogurts. Corner yogurts, who just were a bit disappointing. You didn't really add, no white chocolate taste, so just the texture. And you got the crunch from the coconut flakes, those like crunchy coconut. I don't really know what they've done to the coconuts to make them like that, but it was but yeah, they were nice, So it was a bit of a, again, just didn't have the cohesion that I think the person creating it wanted, which is a bit of a shame, really. I wish Cadbury, I kind of get it, but it just seems a bit odd that they just don't really. I don't know. It they don't quite work the ingredients sometimes, I think. At least not as intended anyway. But nonetheless, it did win the flavour. It won the event or what have you. So there we go. So I think it was quite an interesting one. Again, I feel like probably about the same. about 3.5 out of 5, I think. I think it was about right. It's a bit unique bar, but could be better. You know, still quite nice. Dairy milk, usual stuff. Nothing too bad about it, but yeah, as I say, just not quite as good as you'd hope, really. So, not bad. Since Milk and Confetti was the one to go for from 5 years ago, but 5 out of 5 seems a very high mark. That I'm not sure if, yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to try and re-review that one, see what happens with that. But yeah, 5 out of 5. Let's end the poll. Yes, so I think Cadbury has won. Cadbury all the way, it looks like, but as well, not quite, because as I say, Milk did get a bit of a third of the vote. So interesting one there. Interesting one. So I think quite an interesting point that Juliet made there, I must say. I think that's worth considering more in the future, for sure. The variety that Milka has. I think that would be something well worth considering in the future. And I need to maybe try and look out for more sort of random Milka products, I think. So I feel like there's quite a lot to be discovered with Milka, I think, as I say. And but as I do have a brownie one in the stash ready to review, which is quite good one. I think Scotty put me onto that one a few years back. So an interesting one there. Yeah, an interesting one. So there we go. But there we are. All right, well, that brings us to the end, really, for this one. It's been a good one to see you all as well. Great to see you, Juliet, in the chat, of course, of Skywalker as well, and Scotty. Anyone else who's there? It's good to see you all. I know sometimes you don't. And GTA fan as well, Nathan. Good to see you as well. Yes, have to keep an eye out for GTA 6. Hopefully it'll come along at some point this year. Fingers crossed. Dear, yes, we'll start switching off the lights. But yeah, as I say, great to see you all. I must thank all the members for supporting the channel as well. Yes, we've got to, of course, yes. Well, Scotty, I guess still, even though Scotty, I know you're in between, but definitely got to thank you, Scotty. Thank you so much for your support, massively appreciated. And of course, yes, and there's Sam Matson also, yes, great stuff. And also the other members as well, Smithy, Mrs. Rick, Georgie as well, Jonatron, and Chantel, well done, Shori as well, and QP also, DB, yes, I'm not sure, is it DB? Yeah, DB, I'm sure got another. Just DB82, okay, there we go, right. Skywalker, of course, as well, and TLHA full episodes. Thank you so much for your support, massively appreciated, truly is. As I say, special shout out for Scotty, Alan, and Sam. Thank you so much for your continued support, massively appreciated, truly is. So thank you very much. Right, well, there we go, yes, there we are. So as I say, I'm going to try and do the updates, the February updates for this month. I'm going to do that after this, I think. Maybe try and catch a review in, something like that. But it's going to be quite some big changes, I think I'm going to try and do. So there we go. I'm just trying to turn off the graphics here, and I can't quite manage it, but there we are. Try to do two things at once, never easy. But there we go, there we are. Yes, and lastly but not leastly, there we go. Yeah, great stuff. Right, well, it's been really great to chat to you, everyone. Really is. Thank you so much for your support. Massively appreciated. As I always say, really is great to chat to you all. And keep an eye out for I think I've got it's access to members only at the moment, but it does come live tomorrow. I think it is my Easter egg review, sort of Marks and Spencer's Easter egg reviews. Keep an eye out for that one. That'll come tomorrow morning. I think 9:30. I think it is. Yeah, great to see you watch that. As I say, I'll try and get the February updates probably published today or tomorrow. I think going to be some quite big changes in it, so I might need to script that a bit, but. Yeah, hopefully I'll get that out there as well. So thank you so much. Great to see you all. It really is. Hope you have a lovely weekend. I hope you enjoy it. Hope the rain doesn't get in your way. Fingers crossed. It's been a pretty dismal February, I must say, but nonetheless, it's still getting brighter. And even though it's really dismal outside, it's still actually not dark, which is quite nice. Well, not as dark as it could be if it was night time. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great week, or a great weekend, and a great week.